Go ahead. Tell them what to do. Pull your arms apart like you're pulling apart your Gugon.
Yeah.
Hi, Mark.
All right. Thanks, buddy.
Wow.
All right. Have a great day at school. I love you.
You too, Mama. Love you too.
Okay, go be quiet and get McCoy ready. All right. Let's see. Okay, start with your feet on the floor. Intentionally close your eyes. Feel both feet on the floor and just notice where your weight is. Between your right and left foot, gauge what's happening in your body. Are you more towards your toes, more towards your heels, more on the inside or the outside of your feet? Bring your awareness up your body towards your hips. Feel how are they weighted. The femur bone is turned in the hip socket a little bit, and there's a balance point where the pelvis can sit right over the top of the femurs, and the sacrum can bear some of the load of your body. So if you let your belly go and let that happen, so the pelvis can just tip forward to neutral or slightly more forward than that, so that your spine can have the load and your hips can sit in the right position, the right angle. You could even just play with that for a moment. Turn your feet way out for a second and just feel, what does that do to the weight on your feet? If you were more forward, does turning your feet out bring you more back? Take a minute just to notice that, and then turn your feet to pigeon toe. And also just notice, like, how well does your leg do that rotation first thing in the morning? Does it happen easily? Does one side want to be a little more stuck than the other? Can you close your mouth and take 3 full breaths in and out through your nose? I just had a vertebrae adjust as I did that. When you've done 3 full breaths, bring your feet back to straight. And again, fully breathe in and out, 3 more breaths. Last one. Nice. Then, with the outside edges of your feet pointed straight on the floor, start right into your elbow curls. Fold your fingers to your palms, thumbs out and pointing down toward your shoulders. Bring your elbows together so they touch, and then all the way back 20 times. And release. Bring your arms out to the side. Take it right into a windmill. Exhaling over to one side. Inhale through your nose. Coming up, exhale, reach to the other side, letting your spine take that sideways shape of a rainbow, going over, coming up. Exhaling over, inhaling to lift, exhale over, inhale, lift. Over and up and over and up. Couple more. And then take your feet out a little wider, outer edges of the feet pointed straight again. Full breath. Float your arms up. Exhale over. Inhale, lift. Exhale over. Inhale, lift. Start to pay attention to what your shoulder blades are doing on your back and how the position of the shoulder blades sitting on the spine has to move over the rib cage, making new space on each side as you go up, as the spine laterally flexes, and the connection between the bottom of the shoulder blade and the top of the pelvis, all through those muscles that cross your back, how that moves and changes as you go over to one side and then over to the other. Go wider again. Same thing. And then back in, feet pointed straight ahead. Last ones, elbows super strong. Exhale over, inhale, lift. And the last one, 5. Take it right into an arm circle. Fold your fingers to your palms, keeping the hands in the golfer's grip, palms open. Really pull the fingers tight, and then arms out by your sides. Little squeeze between the bottom edge of your shoulder blade. Relax your belly, float your arms up, elbows strong and straight. Energetically let those arms really reach out, and then keep that little hug in the back of your shoulders. Then circle forward 40 circles. And release. Turn them over, palms up, float them up, stretch those elbows straight, little squeeze at your shoulder blades, relax your belly, circle backwards. And release. Grab your chair and put your legs up on your chair or bench. And come on down onto the floor. So static back, this position with your legs up over the bench and your legs at 90 degrees is a good position to check how well your body is doing what it's supposed to do. So as you go up into this position, ideally, the position of your legs would make your low back be able to relax enough that it would tip slightly backwards and go into a posterior tilt. And you should have access to just a little bit of a posterior tilt And then your spine should be straight and it should be even between your two shoulders. Now, that's the ideal position. For many people, when they take their legs up like this, either their low back doesn't go flat to the floor or their shoulders, one or both, still stay a bit rounded off the floor. And that's an indication either that your thoracic back can't let go quite as well as it needs to, or your low back can't let go quite as well as it needs to. And so being able to just hang out here, I can feel right now my right shoulder staying pretty far off the floor, and I still have maybe half an inch or so of my low back. It just let go as I tried to press it down. It was like, oh, that's what you're asking me to do? So a little bit of low back that could let go still. So I'm going to continue to tuck my shoulders underneath me, let my pecs and biceps and things that might hold my shoulders a little bit forward let go. And let's everybody take 5 deep breaths in and out through your nose. I want you to hold about 10 seconds between the inhale and the exhale. So inhale, hold, exhale, all the air out and kind of hold that as well, letting your body react to that. Full breath in, inhale through your nose. Keep inhaling until you can't inhale anymore and hold. Exhale. Completely. Hold. Inhale. Expand your ribs, expand your lungs, open up those muscles on the side of your ribs. Exhale. Squeeze all the air out. Allow your spine to react to that new position. Let's go. We got a couple more, 2 more breaths like that. Fully in. Full expansion of your lungs, your ribs, all the way to the bottom. Exhale. Squeeze the air out. Hold. Last one. Big inhale. Open up spaces. Full exhale. Excellent. Now check your body again. Did things move a little bit in that time? Hopefully they did. And now bring your arms up into a reverse press. Squeeze your shoulders underneath your back, in towards your spine. Pinch the bottom edge of the shoulder blade together, and then release. Squeeze, release. Find those rhomboids. Find that mid trap in the middle back. Sliding the shoulders together and release. See how relaxed can you stay through your upper back. So as the shoulder blades draw in, keep a heaviness behind your heart so that the upper back just doesn't go into a flatter position as you slide the shoulder blades around the rib cage. Feel fullness in your torso. Squeeze, release. Notice if one side moves more easily than the other. And then interlace your fingers. You may do these separate or fingers interlaced, your choice. If you have an arm that maybe works really differently than the other, help it out or let it work by itself. Over your head, touch the floor and back up. 20 of these pullovers. As your arms go up, your spine will react to that a little bit. There will be a lifting or opening of the upper back slightly as the shoulders let go, rotate, the shoulder blade moves, rotates, and slides. Maybe as your upper back lets go, you feel your lower back getting more even and even more flat on the floor. And then when you've done 20, let your arms relax out on the floor. Go ahead and bring both knees in toward your chest. Your low back is going to go even more flat as you bring your knees into your chest. And then stretch your heels to the ceiling. Push them way up there. Pull your ankles down towards you a lot. Outer edges of the feet still pointed straight ahead. And then down and release. Let's do that 10 times. Knees into your chest, pelvis tips backwards a little bit, press up. Your belly may have to work here to hold some stability, then release your knees and hips and release it all the way up. In, up, down, release. Keep going. And then press the block or chair out of your way. Let's go into a little bit of hip rotations. So one leg out straight on the floor. Let's keep your right leg down just to change it up. Left leg coming in towards you. And then imagine that there is a pull going through your knee, and you're going to rotate your leg to the inside as far as possible, rotating it, bringing that internal rotation up, or excuse me, external rotation of the femur, and then back to neutral, and then go the other way. Take the ankle wide. Again, that pull still pushing right through your knee. Rotate, 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 and then back in, and then ankle in. Keep pulling, keep trying to rotate as far as you're able to. Then neutral and ankle wide, rotating the leg bone in. Find the muscles on both inside and outside of your hips to do that rotation. Neutral. One more. In, neutral, and ankle wide. Pull, 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 pull. Release. Good. Second side. Bringing it up. Shoulders in neutral, everything released. Pulling that in. Keep trying to rotate more, bringing the ankle up towards your hip. Then to neutral, then out. Ankle wide, leg bone goes in. Remember, muscles on the inside and the outside of the hip help to pull that into that rotation. Neutral. In. Neutral and out. And in. One more. then both feet on the floor, pelvic tilts. Forward and backwards. Feel your tailbone pull toward your pubic bone, back goes flat to the floor, and then roll the other way. Tailbone goes down into the floor, sit bones go wide, open that space up, roll forward, put an arch in your back. Use your back muscles to extend your back, let them shorten, and then let them lengthen. And then let's take it down into your feet, both feet straight. Grab your left leg, hold underneath your knee, pull your knee in towards your chest, 20 circles all the way around with your ankle. And reverse. Hey, Mike. Point and flex. Hey, baby. Mike, make sure they have snacks in their backpacks. Point and flex. Switch legs. Hold it up there. Bottom foot straight up and down, shoulders down and back. Big circles all the way around, 20 circles. Popcorn. Reverse. Point and flex. Yeah.
Every time I go to school, you have to remember to pack animals and stuffies.
Okay.
Oh, I need to go pee.
It does office. Excellent. Onto your hands and knees. Cats and dogs, round and arch your back. So tie that work that we just did. Now your feet are in plantar flexion, so tucked under, and that will generate this difference up the whole leg. Up to round, tailbone down, work all the way into round. Feel your belly muscles, feel your head and neck. And then lift your tailbone, spread your sit bones wide, let it move through each of the vertebrae in your back and up 10 times. He's been using the black one, babe.
Behind you, then. No, that pass behind you. No, that pass
And then come right into a kneeling groin stretch. So coming up, bringing your right foot forward. Hands on your knee. Go ahead and let your leg go behind you. Taking your hands to your knees. So now we're in this split hip position. One hip going into flexion and one hip going into extension. And I want you to just stabilize your spine a little bit using all of those cross fiber connections that you can access from your shoulders and your belly to press into that front knee. Pull your belly off your thigh a little bit and then just breathe. Letting that back hip open and go into some extension, letting this front hip sink down more into flexion. Breathe.
You carried it in yesterday. You carried it in yesterday.
Because of this back leg going into extension, your glute should be able to work a little bit. That should trigger the opposite lumbar erector to fire up so that you're in this cross pattern of stabilization. And then release, switch sides, and take it forward. Good, then just get comfortable with the opposite leg in flexion and extension. Using again your hands on your knee to just pull your belly off your thigh a little bit, letting that back hip move into extension. Now again, the opposite side is going to fire up from this back hip if this back hip gets into some extension. So allow the muscles in the front to let go, letting that back hip move into the extension that it needs to. And then step back. Hands on the floor again. Back to cats and dogs once more. Round and arch. Just notice, does that feel different just after that one move? How are things moving over? Vertebrae getting out of the way. And then come down onto your belly. Bottom of your feet touching, pigeon toe your feet, arms out in front of you. Reach all the way up, hands into that golfer's grip. Turn your thumbs out to the side, forehead resting on the floor. Full deep breaths. If you have 2 yoga blocks and you'd like your arms to be up a little higher, you may elevate them up onto your blocks. But I want you to get in touch with what your shoulders are doing, how your shoulder blades feel on the side of your body, how your front ribs can gently just tuck under slightly, and then take those big full breaths in and out, in through your nose at least, out through your mouth if you want, or out through your nose. But let the full expansion of your lungs be what you're paying attention to here. Full deep breath in, bringing it low into your body. Keep going. Exhale completely. Two more. Then walk your arms out to a Y shape. toward the corners of your mat, and then really open those arms up again, rotating the whole upper arm bone outward. Full breath in, full exhale. What?
I love that.
You
My
don't have-
dad's yelling at me.
It's in the car.
In the car.
Master's in the car.
He is. Where is the car? Where's the car? What color is it?
Out all the way like a T. Really pull those thumbs back, rotate those upper arm bones back. Feel the muscles work in your upper shoulders. And release. Press up onto your hands and knees. Move right into a static extension position. And I'm going to give you an option here. So you could do this on the floor. Make sure that your hands are right underneath your shoulders and then bring them one palm length forward so that your hips go just over or forward of your knees, and you can let your belly hang toward the floor and let your arms push to the back of the shoulder sockets. So this would be one position. You can tuck your chin and stay there. Now, this is also done up on your block. So this is an option. And it's interesting how this changes. So it's actually kind of less extension on your low back to be up here. It's more weight on your shoulders, but it can help tip your pelvis forward of your hip bones a little bit more. And then just holding that position, allowing again the pelvis to move over the head of the femurs. So this can be sometimes less intense on your low back because of the extension demand that it's asking for, but more load or weight on your wrists and shoulders. Head dropped. Figure out whichever one feels most appropriate for you today. Hang in there. 3 more breaths. And then come out of it for a moment. I'm going to come back down to this position, so just move a little bit. And then we're going to go into arm rotations or chest openers in this position. So come back into that static extension position, knees behind your hips, pelvis tipping forward, and then rotate your elbow. So I'm basically trying to do this with my arm, except for my hand isn't moving. So I'm closing the kinetic chain in my wrist and making the movement happen up into the shoulder. So rotate the arm bone. Let's do it like 10 times. And then gently come out of it. Nice. Now take your arms a little bit wider. Elbows get to go out to the side. You're going to take your nose towards your mat like you're diving down, pushing through to come to the front and lift up towards a bit of a cobra position. and then pull back. Use your knees, use your hips, pull back, come through that position. Let's just do this 3 times. So 2 more. Press down, elbows wide, through like you're going underneath something, and then back underneath it again. 1 more. Awesome. Come up into kneeling. Let's get off your wrists a little bit. So now just in this kneeling position, we are lengthening the muscles that cross both the hip and the knee. From this position, let's do shoulder rolls, up and forward and around. So we've shortened the lever a little bit. We've increased the pull on the front of the body. And then backwards. Relax your belly. Let your thighs kind of hold you up there. Forward again, 10 more. Are they moving evenly? Do you have access to both sides? How's the balance between your right and left side of your body today? Backwards. Good. Interlace your fingers. Flip your hands over. Take it all the way up. Relax your stomach. Press through your thighs. As you relax your stomach, make it so that your hips don't just fall forward, that there's some stability still there. Lifting through your rib cage, then bring your head back over your shoulders and go ahead and look up. Go into that little bit of neck extension. Pull them back. 2 more breaths in through your nose. Full expansion at the bottom of your rib cage. Exhale it out. 1 more. Release. Release your arms. Lie down on your side. Upper spinal floor twist. Bringing your knees up so they're stacked right at 90 degrees. Arms forward. Keep the knees right together. You can hold on with that other one and open up your upper back, allowing each bit of your spine to twist. Untwist. Roll to the other side. Stack your hips and knees and open that arm up. So this hip, when you keep your legs together, probably your hips are a little wider than your knees, so there's an adduction that has to happen in that leg, and that rotates that top of the femur just a little bit, and that should help you stabilize at your pelvis and allow your spine to open up. untwist onto your back, feet on the floor, pelvic tilts once more, just realign that position, flattening the low back, arching your low back. And then come all the way up to standing again. And come into a spread foot forward bend. So wide feet and then bend forward. Taking those femurs way out. Outer edges of the feet pointed straight. And then let your body hang over. There's a little internal rotation that has to happen at the leg bone as the pelvis drops over the head of the femurs again. And then reach all the way to your right foot. Opening that whole right side of your body. Excuse me, left foot, right side. Switch feet. Open up that side body. And then once more to the center. And just let your body pull down. You can even reach through, bring your head down toward the floor. If you want a little more release through your upper back, you could interlace your fingers and pull your upper arm bones over. Let your head and neck just shake out. And then come on up. Walk your feet back in. And come into a downward facing dog pose. Tuck your toes under, lift your hips, fingers down, outer edges of the hands pointed straight. And just hang out here for a bit. Let your body adjust, let your tendons and ligaments and muscles open and react to that position. Find your breath. And then coming forward, letting your elbows come a little bit wide, coming forward. Just passing your hands, coming into a plank, and then lower yourself down to the floor. Relaxing your toes down, arms can be out to the side, elbows out to the side. Lift your shoulders up and away from the floor, letting your shoulder blades move down your back. Moving into that gentle extension into a cobra. Hold and breathe. And then push back onto your hands and knees. Let's go through that one more time. Press up into downward facing dog pose. Tucking your toes under, lifting your hips. Pressing through your hands and fingers, squeeze the thumb and the pad of the thumb and the pad of the pinky towards each other. Use that to open, lengthen at your armpits.
Lift your hips higher and then root down as much as you can toward your heels. If your knees are needed to be a little bit bent, that's fine too. Coming forward, let your elbows go out to the side, lowering down. Shoulders lifting up and away from the floor, curling down your back as you lengthen just to the point that you're comfortable with. That may be low down here and maybe up higher, you choose. And releasing down, and then go ahead and push back, child's pose. Bringing your arms back, just breathe. Back to your hands and knees. Let's go down to your elbows. Let's just give your wrists a break. Let's find those extensors a little bit. So right leg up into the air. Bring your knee down, touch the floor, lift it straight back up. Heel high to the sky, down and back up. 15. As that leg goes into extension, be mindful of that it's going to ask your back to want to lengthen into a bit more of an arch. But you can control that if it's happening too much by a little more belly control. And then switch sides. Donkey kicks on the second side. And then one last time, full cats and dogs. And then you choose today, legs back up over your block into static back, or legs out straight on the floor into a Shavasana position. You decide where you want to be. You could do a couple point and flexes just to get your ankles into a really good position if you're here either way in both places. Feel the bones of the bottom of your feet squeeze towards each other. All of the arches inside, outside, across the toes, all hugging in and then opening back up. Aligning the bones of the ankle. Then keeping the feet flexed, rotate your feet out and in. Aligning the bones at your hips. And then tuck your shoulders underneath you. Let your head rotate back and forth. And allow your body just to be completely supported by the floor. turn your attention back to your breathing. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your nose or your mouth, your choice. Step into that seat of the witness again. Notice what's arising without controlling it. Feel the sensations, even an itch at this moment. If you notice that you want to scratch the itch, see if you can resist that. And just stay. Stay with your breath. Stay with whatever is arising. Feel the sensations of the air moving through your body. Slowly come back around. Bring some movement back into your body. If you'd like to stay here, you may. Just turn off your computer. If you'd like to take a few moments just to check in, you may come back around and do that as well.
Thanks, Kyra.